this. When states go into monetary cooperatives, they give up the right to create money by doing this. They've given up their right and somewhat their sovereignty. So I wanted to know if you think that cryptocurrency can change or affect the way that states deal with each other, as well as affect existing corporations such as the EU.
Yes, I guess there is a certain potential in the evolution of cryptocurrency markets to change this dynamic. I think not for the moment, because just for the simple reason that in pure volume terms, the cryptocurrency markets are still very, very small. At the same time, at the moment, they remain to a large extent unregulated, which is probably also due to the fact that by most states they are not considered important enough in terms of volume. But this is going to change. I mean, the IMF is hugely involved in getting its head around the broad field of digital money, digital currencies, cryptocurrencies, and is most likely going to propose some sort of regulation. We're already seeing some states embarking on regulation, and once cryptocurrency markets get regulated, once really they're also potentially being discovered by central banks as players on the cryptocurrency markets, then that would again be a means to create money via the central bank, and then well, I guess then the question arises whether or not to pass on that sovereign power as well to the supranational level, or to keep that. Yeah.
You said in one of your statements that cooperatives such as the EU set benchmarks for sovereignty for other member states.
The European Union sets benchmarks. It's just my argument is that the normative components of monetary sovereignty as a concept act as a benchmark. So when you consider the pursuit of the goal of monetary stability on an EU-wide level for the whole of the Eurozone as normative goal of the proper exercise of sovereign powers in the field of money, then that is the benchmark, and against which, of course, policy actions by the ECB and also by national policymakers are to be measured. So it's less the EU and concretely the ECB setting arbitrarily chosen benchmarks. It's just really the normative goal, which ideally would have to be a commonly shared goal.
Do you see in the future other monetary cooperations forming, such as the EU, but in other parts of the world? Do you think that this will be a good idea?
I mean, there are two economic and monetary unions already in Western Africa, with the West African Economic Monetary Union and another one who, due to the historical colonial links to France, of course, hugely or very closely linked to France, and they're also to the ECB's influence. I think there are projects for an economic union for the whole of Africa. The Gulf region, the Gulf Cooperation Council had also plans in that direction. They're clearly also with the current difficult political situation on the Gulf, that has certainly the efforts have slowed down. In the Caribbean, that's maybe the most promising as I see it at the time, because I mean there you have a relatively closely knit group of countries that are relatively homogeneous and who seem to be cooperating quite smoothly, and yeah, that's probably the one that gets closest to following the Eurozone's example, because after all, despite the heavy political debates that we have in Europe, it's still a huge, at least from the outside, seen as a huge success.